What is going on, everyone? It's Ultimate Spy 53 here, and welcome to another episode of Reviewed number 155. And today, I'm going to be reviewing the movie Peter Pan from 1953. So what did I think of Peter Pan? I loved it. It's a Disney classic, and it's just an amazing movie. I mean, obviously, Tinkerbell is probably the reason why it was so amazing. I mean, Disney, they decided to use Tinkerbell as their unofficial mascot. Mickey is their mascot, but Tinkerbell's like the magical mascot of the company back then, like in the 50s and 60s. She was always in the promotional art for like the Disney DVD and all that stuff, and she's always there, and I love the Disney marketing and all that stuff. And I just think it was amazing, this movie. There's a lot of things I really did like about it. There's not a whole lot that I didn't like about it. Maybe like one thing that I kind of thought was odd, but other than that, it was a really wonderful movie, and I just take joy in watching it. It's just a wonderful film, and I loved it. I just think it's just so joyous to watch it. I just have so much joy watching it. I just feel happy watching it. And there is one thing that I kind of was confused about the movie, and I didn't really notice the first time I watched it, because I haven't seen this movie in years, and because it's a Disney classic, I didn't really recall it. I mean, this movie came out in 1953, so of course I would never recall it. But one of the things I didn't really understand, that I didn't really catch, was that the Darling family is an English family, British, and Michael, the youngest, the toddler, he doesn't sound British. And that's because the voice actor who plays him is actually American. Now, most of the cast are all American. I know that the narrator is British, and Wendy is the voice actor for her. She is British American, meaning she's had both nationalities. She's obviously playing Wendy with her British nationality. And so with Michael, I didn't really notice it until I really paid attention. But apparently Michael was using an American accent. It makes me wonder if the character himself was actually adopted. I don't think that was the intention. I just think that the actor must have not gotten the accent right, because I'm pretty sure he was not adopted, because that doesn't make sense. I think the actor just didn't get the accent right. But it does make you wonder if it's like a theory. It's like, oh, well, maybe Michael was adopted. Maybe that's why he sounds different from the rest of his family. I don't know, but it was weird because I didn't really understand that the first time I watched it. I'm like, wait, he sounds weird, and then I watched it again and again. I'm like, wait, he doesn't sound like the rest of his family. What's up with that? So that's really the only thing I really didn't like about it, didn't really understand. There's not a whole lot that I didn't like about it. There wasn't. Some of the songs I'm not a biggest fan of, like the song that Wendy sings, kind of gets old after a while. I don't think it's horrible. I think it's beautiful, but I just not the biggest fan of it. But there were quite a few things about this movie that I really enjoyed. I mean, it's an old movie. That's the kind of thing I do in this show. I review movies both old and new. I kind of like to go back in time to older movies, and I'm doing Peter Pan this week because this is releasing a whole bunch of movies this year. It's like the most they've ever released in a single year, I'm pretty sure. So one of the things that I really liked about this movie was the songs. It had some great songs, like the You Can Fly song, the Follow the Leader song, which I loved. That song is fantastic. You know, I don't know, I always remember that song. It's just one of my favorites from this movie because it's so catchy. It's like, following the leader, following the leader, wherever he may go. It's just so good. I just like that when that song, when that I guess music cue starts happening. It's so catchy. I'm like, yes, this song. It's probably my favorite songs in the movie is Following the Leader. I love it. I don't know. I just love it. I mean, there are other songs too in the movie that are good. I like those too, but that's my favorite, definitely. And one of the things that I found to be kind of funny, there's a lot of things in the movie that I kind of found to be funny, but one of the things that I was like, thinking to myself, like, Michael, do you realize that's not going to work? When they're flying through London for the first time, Michael sees Nana, their dog, I guess their nurse dog, chained up to a tree via rope. And says to sprinkle some pixie dust on him via Tinkerbell. Doesn't work at all. I mean, obviously because he's chained up. I'm like, does he realize that Nana is chained to the tree? I don't know. Probably not. I don't know what that was about. Just like, I'm kind of confused. Like, did she realize that she's changed? I think it's just cartoon logic. Sometimes that's just not. Sometimes movies like this don't make the perfect sense in terms of obeying the laws of physics. There's a lot of things in this movie that disobeyed the laws of physics completely, but that was one of them. I was like, what? Another thing that I noticed was the same in the live action movie, and I'll be reviewing that movie as soon as I can because I love that movie. I haven't watched that in a long time, but the live action movie. This ended up becoming. Live action remakes weren't really a thing until well, Cinderella was the first one. Technically Maleficent, but that doesn't really count. But Peter Pan wasn't made into a live action movie 2003, and I have yet to review it. I will definitely review it as soon as I can. And a similar thing to that, where the dad, George Darling, is also the same voice actor who voiced Captain Hook in the movie. The actor uses different voices, but they're very similar. I mean, I obviously have to be very distinct with your voice. You have to like make them a bit different, but you can tell they're the same actor because of the voice itself. I mean, it's a bit different because it's voice acting. You gotta make your voice different to make it sound like a different character, but it was still very similar, which is why they're the same voice actor. You know, that's just, it's obvious, you know. And like I mentioned, there were a lot of funny moments in the movie that I loved. One of the first things that happens in the movie that kind of made me like go, what? Is there's a crew member who's singing, and Captain Hook's like, he's trying to concentrate on trying to pinpoint where Peter Pan is, and he gets annoyed by him singing, like, you know, using a whatever that instrument is that I can't remember the name of the instrument, but he sings and Captain Hook just shoots him. It's like, that's not the best way to deal with a problem. They don't just shoot people, but that was funny. I like that. But my all-time favorite scene in the movie, the funniest scene, was definitely gotta be when when Smee shaves a seagull. Because there's a point where Hook is being shaved by Smee and a bird lands on him, just thinking it's a nest, I think, and then Smee just like basically shaves it. He doesn't realize that he's shaving the seagull, nor does the seagull realize that it's being shaved by Smee. And that was probably the funniest part of the movie, because it's like it's behind this being shaved off, and then it doesn't realize it's being shaved off until after it notices it actually is being shaved, and then it like flies off going, "Oh my god, I'm shaved!" It was just like the funniest part because it's so well done, and it's meant to be like yeah, he's saving the seagull because Smee's an idiot. Because he's clumsy. That's one of the things about Smee that is really funny, is the fact that he's very clumsy. He just does all sorts of stuff that is, he just like, he doesn't pay attention to things. He just is a funny character. He's a very clumsy character. That's kind of why I like him so much, because he's so funny. But that's probably the funniest scene in the movie, just Smee shaving the seagull. Because it looks so wrong, and it's like, that doesn't look right, but that's part of the comedy of it. I love music cues in this movie. There's a lot of really great cues. I mean, obviously, the Follow the Leader cue was one of them, but one of the better ones was the crocodile approaching. The TikTok one. That is just fantastic. I just love it. And as for that, the relationship between Hook and the crocodile is just hilarious to watch, because the crocodile is the one thing that Hook is afraid of. I mean, obviously, it's been a thing since the movie came out. Is that it's been, I know, he's always been afraid of the crocodile. It's the best relationship because he's terrified of the crocodile. It's the one thing that he's scared of. Because he's obviously a Disney villain, but it's the one thing he's actually very scared of, is the crocodile. And the music cue with the crocodile is just so good. I just love it. You know, it's just like, it uses a lot of I guess, I think it's a bass, like I think not a violin, the bigger one. I can't remember the name of that instrument. But it's kind of like that, and the music cue for that is just brilliant. I just love the music cue; it's fantastic. But that relationship between the crocodile and Captain Hook is just so funny. It's just so funny, especially when you see him breaking the laws of physics with the crocodile, like, you know, trapping its mouth with his legs. You can't do that. I mean, it's obviously a cartoon. It breaks the laws of physics, obviously, because it's a cartoon. But even then, it's so funny, and I just love it. It's the best love-hate relationship ever. One of the things about this movie that was really interesting, and it kind of tests Tinkerbell and Peter Pan's relationship, because in the original stories and also in this movie, Tinkerbell and Peter Pan are best friends. Like, he loves her so much as a friend, but like in that way, like they're the best of friends. They're like a team. And so in this film, it shows that Tinkerbell becomes jealous of Peter because Peter likes Wendy, obviously. There's also a little bit a love triangle between Wendy, Peter, and Tiger Lily. And maybe a little bit of Tinkerbell, but I think it's mainly just their relationship is just best friends. But basically, she gets jealous of him because he's more interested in Wendy, and because of that, Peter banishes her for a week. It isn't until like Peter basically becomes like an asshole by doing that, like becomes like a selfish jerk, and it isn't until like the final bit of the movie when Peter tells Tinkerbell that she means more to anything than anything in the whole world, which is amazing. I just like the sweetest thing, because it I guess like it means that he's redeemed himself. Like he does care for her. Like the idea is that once he banished her, she thought that he didn't care for her anymore, but in that moment he proved to himself that he did care, which I liked a lot. That was a really good thing. That was really well written. I think it was good on Disney for making that decision to include that. I don't think it was part of the original stories. I don't know if that was a thing. In fact, he redeems himself. I mean, I think this is just an adaptation of the original story. But even then, very good scene in it. It's really sweet. I just love it. And one of the things that I really did like about Peter is the fact that he's a great impressionist. He can imitate a lot of characters. Like he can do a perfect impression of Captain Hook, to Trix me, into Free Tiger Lily, all that stuff. And then he also does a good impression of the Indian captain leader guy, and that was really cool. So I think that Peter is a really fun character, because not only because he can fly, but also because he's a cool character, and he's really fun, and I like him because he's yeah, he can do impressions, but also he's just fun. I just like him. He's meant to be a very fun character, and that's why he's awesome. And last but not least, the last thing I can say about this movie is like I mentioned before, the whole breaking the laws of physics things. There was a lot of things in this movie that were breaking the laws of physics that weren't. You can't do that in real life. I mean, obviously it's a cartoon, but even then, like it shows you like Captain Hook doing all this crazy stuff with the crocodile and all that stuff. Things that obviously cartoon logic would work, but in the real world wouldn't work. I mean, I think at that point it's just silly. Yeah, like you can't when Peter is like tricking him off of a cliff, you would fall immediately. You wouldn't be like, oh my god, I'm here. Oh, I'm falling. Oh no. Or going into the crocodile and then coming back out and then being chased after the crocodile. Yeah, doesn't really work so well. But it was still a fun movie. And I really did like this a lot. It's just a joy to watch, honestly. Peter Pan is one of those movies. It's just joy. It's just joyous. The songs, Follow the Leader. I just love that song. It's just so good, and I don't know, it was well made for its time. I think that the previous movie before that was Alice in Wonderland. I think that a couple of voice actors from that movie came to back to this movie. But in particular, the voice actor who plays Wendy is the same voice actor who plays Alice. And I have yet to review the original Alice in Wonderland. I have not yet. It's on my list. I just haven't gotten to it. And again, I like to review old movies. That's just my thing. But still, I think the voice acting was good. I think the music was good. I think the choreography was good. The animation is wonderful. Characters are fun. It's just well made, and it's a classic. I just like classic. Big fan of classic Disney movies. Although I love the new stuff that Disney's made in terms of the live action remakes or even the new animated ones, but they've made. But this is just a good example of that. And actually, one of the interesting things about this movie, before I wrap up here, is Tinkerbell was in the lineup for the Disney Princess line. I think originally it was Alice who became part of the Disney princesses, and then I think even maybe Wendy, but she's not really a princess. So, yeah, for a while I think Tinkerbell was like a member of the princesses, but it makes no sense because she's not a princess. She's a fairy. She's a pixie. That's not the same as a princess. I mean, she's got like a dress and she's an attractive young blonde fairy, but that's not the same thing. So, but yeah, still Tinkerbell. I think that Tinkerbell probably would be my favorite character, other than Peter Pan. I mean, obviously Peter Pan is like the top choice because he's the main character of the movie. But even then, Tinkerbell is still a fun character because obviously she doesn't talk, but she's magical. And then this movie is just magical, and Peter Pan is just fun. I like him a lot. He's a really fun character, and that's all I can say about this movie. I'm gonna give this a 10 out of 10. I didn't really have any issues with it. I mean, I named some of the things that was like I kind of thought were silly or I didn't really understand, but I don't really think those are negative things. I just think I just like, oh, that's weird kind of thing. But and I didn't really have anything against this movie really. So I'm gonna leave it with a 10 out of 10, and that's really all I can say. And yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Reviewed. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button. I really do appreciate it. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe for more episodes of this series and other series that I do, as well as other good content. Also, make sure you click that bell to enable alerts so you don't miss my uploads. And I'll be back next week with another episode. Alright, see ya.